Inching its way into Doha port is the Iran Hormuz 12. It's just completed a 15-hour journey from the Iranian port city of Bushehr, carrying a load of circus equipment and performers. Increasing trade between these two energy-rich nations has restarted this fortnightly maritime link, carrying cargo and passengers for the first time in close to a decade. Restarting this shipping service is a perfect example of the diplomatic balancing act Qatar now plays. On the one hand, it's forging closer ties with its Iranian neighbours across the Gulf. On the other, it hosts a very large US military presence at a base just outside Doha. Qatar has historical links with Iran, and thousands of its citizens are of Persian descent, which allows it to better navigate the Sunni-Shia divide affecting Iran's relations with other Gulf Arab states. But Qatar still relies on the United States for its security, which makes another port arrival even more significant. These are the first Iranian Navy ships to visit Doha in a decade. Their training mission involves learning the conditions of different ports and meeting Qatari naval officers. Iran's ambassador is one of the key architects of these closer relations, and he says Qatar plays a very important diplomatic role.
We can see the active diplomatic efforts Qatar has made in resolving many international problems, such as Gaza, southern Lebanon and Sudan. We hope we can use this potential for diplomacy to resolve many other world problems. I think that politicians in the West and America realize this too. The situation has changed, people see the realities on the ground, and we can easily solve our problems and issues through talks and peaceful diplomacy.
It's unclear whether Qatari diplomacy will spread to Iran's nuclear standoff, but with a US military base and high-profile visitors like the US Secretary of State, they're well placed to play a mediation role.
It's an official policy, and it's announced policy of Qatar to be friends with everyone.
Gulf political researcher Fares Breizat says while Qatar is doing a good job of implementing that policy, mediating a nuclear solution will be more problematic.
It will not be an easy ride for Qatar to play a role because the United States from one side will have to balance that with its other partners in the region who are not necessarily in good terms with Qatar.
In the complicated world of Gulf politics, you can be sure that finding a unified response to Iran will never be easy. Dan Nolan, Al Jazeera, Doha.